However,
It's now 3 o'clock. We'll call the DeSoto County School Board meeting for November 5th, 2020 to order. Mr. Milton Nichols will lead us in the pledge.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, it's time to approve the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions on anyone? Seeing none, do you have a recommendation, Mr. Lester?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the agenda.
Right, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Now it's time for the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam President. Two items tonight. First of all, I would like to ask Mr. Jonathan Hodges, maintenance department, please come forward. He will be giving us our quarterly interview.
Good afternoon. Okay, this is on the second quarter for this year. That's going to be March, April, June of 2020. And I always start out with the 5 targets to give you an idea of where our energy comes from. And before I show you this next slide, we all know what's going on there in March, April, and June. We're still in the middle of it. So I don't think I'll just be able to do this. So this is, well, it says first quarter, sorry. It's second quarter comparisons between 2018, 2019, and 2020. And you can see the large, yeah. And that's because, $300,000, $66.29 compared to last year. Now, a lot of that's because we weren't in school. So what we do is we go in to the controls and actually we do a setback, we call it. And what that does is that just prevents a lot of the air conditioning equipment and a lot of other equipment from running 100% wide open. They only come on when they need them to. And then we also, I do set in some hours in there that we don't just stay stacking because that can cause humidity problems, things of that nature. So we do run the equipment a little bit here and there. But it is a major setback, and that's where you see all of these things. Average temperatures pretty close together, but given we're in the building near what you would normally be. So our average per square foot is on 19 cents, which is way up. And then these are just the numbers compared to what we spend in each individual school. It's pretty much clear across the board, all the way. Everything went down. And you can see it broken down first. There are a few outliers in some of the schools, and most of those schools, they'll have one thing problem. They don't have controls. So we're not there to do the rolling setbacks, so we still have to let them run some, but we can't do the rolling setbacks that we do with controls. So and there's about 7 of those schools left. But it's everywhere, middle school, high school, everything. Which is good, that's what we're supposed to do. So our energy and our control do exactly what they're supposed to do and brought everything way down. So we could say that only while we're working using the buildings. And even our county office and everything where we work in here intermittently, still down. So everything I have is good news. Anybody got any questions at all?
Looks like we were cutting back even in 2019, so it's like.
Yes, yeah, we were down to 20%.
I want to add this to it is, Rogers and his team, they were monitoring buildings during COVID. That's one thing we talked about, is we didn't know what was going to happen financially because of COVID. And this is one way, they could save money in the district during this time. And all we had extra expenses this year. And so if they had not been monitoring it like it is, it wouldn't be as much savings. So even that's what they were doing a good job of making sure we weren't spending any needless money. So, great job.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Only problem he's gonna have is, this time next year, when he comes back and gives a quarterly report, you'll have to remind us. I know. Great job. All right, this time, I will, thank you, John. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna ask Eric Armstrong, principal of Walls Elementary School, to please come forward. Ms. Armstrong, her third year at Walls Elementary School, doing a fantastic job there. She'll be introducing our teacher spotlight.
Good afternoon. This school year started like no other intention. We've had to get creative with best practices to ensure that all of our students are actively engaged in learning, whether it be in the traditional way or virtual at home. Product of the DeSoto County Schools, Mrs. Kratz has risen to the challenge with not only a positive attitude, but a problem-solving, creative, and inclusive environment so that her mixture of VIP students and traditional students are supportive of one another. While she teaches every subject in one of the tested grade levels, please watch as she shares how she makes raising the bar again look so easy.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. President, board members. As Ms. Armstrong said, this year has been very different. This is a catchphrase that we see everywhere now. Teachers can do virtually anything. We can do it before COVID, and we're going to continue to do it. So this year, as she said, it's had its ups and downs. Nothing in 14 years has prepared me for this year. I taught 5 years in kindergarten, 4 years of fourth grade, and the rest in third grade. And I never even took an online class in college. So this whole virtual learning is all new to me. So as she said, I'm self-contained, so I teach all subjects in third grade. Started the year with 16 virtual students and 11 in classroom. And then after the first 9 weeks, 9 still virtual and 18 in class. The first week of school, my virtual parents and my students were, to come to see me and everything, so I had to get creative. And so I just ripped off that Band-Aid and tried out Teams. I was familiar with Zoom, so I've never used Teams before, but it's not that hard. So I started meeting with my virtual students. I meet Monday through Thursday, twice a day. At 10 o'clock in the morning, I teach my reading and writing lesson to my virtual students, the same one that I taught to my students in the classroom. And then at 1 o'clock, I teach the math lesson that I would teach. So the very first week, I learned a lot of things. One, the Wi-Fi's not strong enough. So I had to move my area so that I could get connected to the Ethernet with my laptop. And so they could see me. They also couldn't hear me with the headphones that I had. So I get headphones with a different mic. And I recommended to their parents that they also do the same because there's all kinds of stuff in the background. And so once we all got headphones, we could hear each other. And then just as I had the meetings, I learned that 2 monitors makes a huge difference. I can share my screen and I can still see their faces, so we're able to interact. And then the document camera really helps with teaching writing. I can model my writing and work out math problems. And so, and then share a book. Most of the time I share a book on the screen, so they can see that. The writing book I just got a few weeks ago, and it's really fun because I can like write on the screen, so write directly on the PowerPoint. So this is an example of my class. So the bottom picture is sort of my setup. I've got my laptop, which I was very excited to get. And the second screen, we're playing Kahoot. I don't know if you're familiar with Kahoot, but it's great for engagement, and our virtual students love to play. I use it as a reward. You know, if we can get this done, and we'll play Kahoot the last few minutes. And then we also compete, like, they'll try to get a better score than my students in the classroom. So we'll compete that way. And then the top screen is using my slate. We worked out elapsed time problems, and so for every problem we worked out, we added a body part to our jack-o'-lantern. And so at the end, the one on the left is mine, and the one on the right is all their jack-o'-lantern. Just trying to keep that engagement, keep them wanting to keep working out problems with me. I've also really tried to, I know they're at home and they're not getting to do the fun stuff that we do. So I have gotten a little creative. We learned about bats for a whole week. This girl in the top right, that's my sister-in-law. She used to work for the zoo, she doesn't anymore, but she's done a lot of research on bats. And so since we can't take any field trips this year, I asked her if she would be a guest speaker. And so she joined our team's meeting. And so this is my students in the classroom. And you can sort of see the virtual students down here at the bottom. So we were all at the same time. And so here's just a little clip of her talking to them.
All right. So that week, that's my first slide, and next week. So we're preparing for next week. So you guys know all about that next week. You can talk to all your friends and family about them. One of my favorite ones that got me interested in bats were vampire bats. So you guys ever heard of vampire bats? Yeah.
So that week was a lot of fun. We learned, I didn't know that they were in two classes. It was the class common as a megabat and a microbat. We only have microbats. All right, so that was one of the things I tried to incorporate us together. And then another thing I do is the scientist of the week. And so I did this before this school year, but I've never done it virtually. And so I chose this student to be our first scientist of the week because he does not miss a team meeting. All of his work is on time. And if he has a question, he asks it, which is really hard to get the virtual students to do. All while mom had a baby doing all this. So they should both be commended for this. So this is just a quick little clip of his experiment. He made like a lava lamp in a bottle. So that's his experiment down here in the corner with some virtual students and then us in the classroom. So you can see it's like oil and water and alka-seltzer. And then we shared him on it again. Another activity that we did, I did a scavenger hunt last year to review math skills for the case 21 that was coming up. And so this year, our math coach helped me to turn it digital, and so we made a Google slide for the virtual students. So they had the same problem, but they just did it virtually. And so hopefully that is going to prepare them for that news that we're taking next week. And so the ones in the school were like around the school. So we're going to continue to do this virtual thing in DeSoto County and at Walls. There's going to be obstacles, but we're just going to continue to
Great. Great presentation. Thank you, Brad. I mean, what you showed us there in the presentation are some challenges that our teachers are facing all over the district. We're finding ways to overcome those challenges.
Hasn't been offering those in
Right.
But I have enjoyed it. It's been worth all the long time.
Well, great job. Ms. Armstrong, thank you. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for sharing this craft with us today. Thank you. And that concludes the citizens' report.
At this time, we have the attorney's report, Mr. Keith.
Yes, ma'am, we have about 3 matters of construction, litigation matters, personnel matters, and property matter, all of which will be discussed in executive session.
Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the October 15th, 2024 meeting. I need a motion and a second to approve those minutes, please.
Right.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now is the consent agenda. We have items on the consent agenda from A to XX. Are there any changes that need to be made to the consent agenda? Seeing none, do you have recommendations, Mr. Austin?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the consent agenda.
Based on Mr. Austin's recommendation, do I have a motion to that effect? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Next on the agenda is new business. Item A is bids for new classroom additions at the DeSoto Central Primary School.
Ma'am, we often bid on October 20th for construction for additional classrooms at the Southern Central Primary School. We had 10 vendors that submit bids. It's my recommendation to accept the lowest and best bid from Legacy Construction Services.
Based on Mr. Williams' explanation, do you have a recommendation, Mr. Williams?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the lowest and best bid for Legacy Construction for classroom additions at the Southern Central Primary School.
Based on Mr. Usleton's recommendation, do I have a motion to approve? Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item B is contractual agreement Legacy Construction Services at the Southern Central Primary School. Mr. Williams.
Yes, and we're requesting consent from the school board to approve the practical agreement of Legacy Construction for the classroom additions at the Southern Central Primary School.
With Mr. Williams' explanation, do you have a recommendation, Mr. Usleton?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve entering into a contractual agreement with Legacy Construction Services for classroom additions at the Southern Central Primary School.
Right, based on Mr. Usleton's recommendation, do I have a motion to approve? Make that motion. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
It is.
All right, item C are bids for classroom additions at Benito High School.
Yes, ma'am, we opened the bids on October 20th for construction of 10 additional classrooms at Hernando High. There are 9 vendors to submit bids. My recommendation is to accept the lowest and best bid from Standard Builders Incorporated.
All righty, with Mr. Williams' explanation, do you have a recommendation?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the lowest and best bids, from Standard Builders for classroom additions at Hernando High School.
All right, with Mr. Usleton's recommendation, do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Item B is contractual agreement with Standard Builders Incorporated at Hernando High School. Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am. This is seeking permission from the board to enter into a contractual agreement with Standard Builders for the classroom addition at Hernando High School.
With Mr. Williams' explanation, do you have a recommendation for approval?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve entering into the contractual agreement with Standard Builders for classroom additions at Hernando High School.
All right, based on Mr. Usleton's recommendation, do I have a motion? Make the motion. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Item E are bids for classroom additions at Pleasant Hill Elementary School, Mr. Williams.
Yes, we open these vehicles on the 15th of October for 4 additional classrooms at Pleasant Hill Elementary School. It's my recommendation to accept the roles of this vehicle market.
All right, with Mr. Williams' explanation, do you have a recommendation, Mr. Russell?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the lowest and best bid from Murphy and Sons for Pleasant construction at Pleasant Hill Elementary School.
All right, with Mr. Usleton's recommendation, do I have a motion to approve the additions?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Item F is contractual agreement, Murphy and Sons Incorporated at Pleasant Hill Elementary, Mr. Williams.
Definitely, I'm requesting permission from the school board to enter into a contractual agreement for the classroom addition at Pleasant Hill Elementary.
With Mr. Williams' explanation, do you have a recommendation?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve entering into a contractual agreement with Murphy and Sons for classroom addition at Pleasant Hill Elementary School.
With Mr. Usleton's recommendation, do I have a motion to approve the agreement? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item G is request to pay vendor purchasing rule issue at DeSoto Central Middle, Mr. Williams.
The principal at DeSoto Central Middle is requesting to take out for vehicles that were ordered without a purchase order. They had a contract in place to do so, and they changed the bookkeeping. The purchase order process was not before followed. I have an email on my account now with dates, times, who's responsible for all of that, and then the principal will be following up with the staff to ensure that happens.
Based on the explanation by Mr. Williams, do you have a recommendation, Mr. Usleton?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the request to pay the vendor for the purchase order issued at DeSoto Central.
All righty, with Mr. Usleton's recommendation, do I have a motion to pay the vendor?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Item H is request to pay vendor purchasing rule issue at South Haven Middle School, Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am, this one is also for you folks. They had a contract in place, the sponsor was out on military leave, and we had the COVID issues that occurred. The principal was changing year with the sponsor for the upcoming year, and we supervise all purchasing for the upcoming school.
With Mr. Williams' explanation, do you have a recommendation, Mr. Usleton?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the request to pay the vendor for the purchase order issued at South Haven Middle School.
With Mr. Usleton's recommendation, do I have a motion to pay the vendor at South Haven Middle School? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item I is request to pay vendor purchasing rule issue physical plant department, Mr. Williams.
Yes, ma'am, this was a point requested to serve part-time out and was talked about remediation at the school. The purchase order was not completed the next day. We've been just getting behind and having so much on our plate. The assistant director was reviewed the person, students to all of our staff, and to ensure that this doesn't happen.
Based on Mr. Williams' explanation, do you have a recommendation, Mr. Usleton?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the request to pay the vendor for the purchase order issued at fiscal planning department.
All right, with Mr. Usleton's recommendation, do I have a motion to pay the vendor for the purchasing rule issue?
Make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item J is request to pay vendor purchasing rule issue transportation, Mr. Williams.
Now, the transportation department requested quotes from CAD Truck Center and parts that they were going to use. The company actually placed the order and delivered the parts. Someone, the person that did not request it, actually accepted the order. The parts are now on our budget, so they're requesting permission to pay for those.
With Mr. Williams' explanation, do you have a recommendation, Mr. Usleton?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the request to pay the vendor for the purchase order issued at transportation.
All right, Based on Mr. Usleton's recommendation, do I have a motion to pay the vendor for the transportation?
I make that motion.
All righty. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Yes, Ms.
This road, this last year, I noticed more and more of these purchasing road issues. Who's supposed to find that stuff? When it's not, there's schools, there's no things.
They're trying, the principal is trying every year at our administrative staff development. The bookkeepers are also trying at the school level. It's the job of the building principal to monitor that behavior, but we allow the bookkeeper, or the paperwork comes through their offices. We're looking at the issues that I was gonna say, after we look through these 5 issues, but that there is a need for more training. We'll keep them training after the school level. You're welcome.
All right, next is item K, request to refund vendor YMCA and child nutrition. Mr. Wiggins.
The federal government suspended the SNAP reimbursement program earlier in the year, and we will provide incentive to the lot. They since ordered or reissued a new order that allows this to claim the SNAP, claim that money, so we're gonna backdate to August 17th. Therefore, we're asking, the board for permission to refund the amount of $1,074, which the YMCA paid for SNAP, which we ultimately received reimbursement.
With Mr. Williams' explanation, you have a recommendation, Mr. Usleton.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the request to pay for refund vendor YMCA and child nutrition.
All right, with Mr. Usleton's recommendation, do I have a motion to refund the vendor? Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. And next is statement of revenue and expenditures for September 2020. Mrs. Grace.
Okay, our general fund revenues for FY 21 through September are $49,159,060. That's 19% of our projected budgeted revenues for general. If you compare that to last year, we're up 2%. Last year was $48,293,240. If you look at all funds, revenue received at $55,574,513. We're down about 1% over last year. That's mainly due to federal funds. It just depends on the expenditure set for us to reflect reimbursement. But the increase for the general funds is mainly due to we finally got the MAP increase starting in September. So that's there. Our general fund expenditures are at $48,641,568 compared to last year, where we were at $49,952,274, down 3%. You will very rarely hear me say that on the expenditure side. Most of that is about $750,000 in textbooks, and our utilities have been continued to be lower at this time period. So that makes up the 3%. All fund expenditures are at $69,047,115, and we're about 18%, almost across the board of our budget at this point.
Based on Ms. Gray's explanation, you have a recommendation, Mr. Usleton.
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the statement of revenue and expenditure for September 2020.
Right. Based on Mr. Usleton's recommendation, do I have a motion to approve the statement of revenue and expenditures for September 2020? Do I have a second? Second. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Item M is statement of cash flow, September 2020, Mrs. Brooks.
Our district maintenance cash balance is at $103,611,677. Of that, invested with Ms. Shawna is $28,115,414, and all funds cash balance is at $156,751,625. And I just kind of want to update a little bit on the invested balance. We invested originally $20 million back in 2015, and a couple years later we did additional $5 million. We have earned over $2.8 million off of just $25 million. as compared to my average balance in my district account, can be anywhere from about 65,000 to, 65 million to about 90 million. And we only earned $500,000 more on that large balance. So, the investments we have made over the last several years with Ms. Shonda have just been tremendously, helpful for the district. So I just want to give y'all a perspective of that.
I think that will answer Mr. Nichols' question.
We can, we absolutely can. We probably at this time, we want to wait until, we kind of know if it's going to be a little bit better time to, put an influx of money into that, but, that is a possibility.
With Mrs. Graves' explanation, do you have a recommendation, Ms. Russellton?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the statement of cash flow for September 20.
All right, based on Mr. Russellton's recommendation, do I have a motion to accept the statement of cash flow? Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Item N is combined balance sheet, September 2020, Mrs. Graves.
The fund balance for all general funds for September is $105,664,922. We are up, actually should be 17%. I think I need to back those. But last year we were at $90,608,250. All fund balance is $151,324,76. And that is just really a combination of, lower expenditures, higher revenues. It will pick up, eventually, but we'll take advantage of it for right now.
Exactly, we'll take it. All right, based on Mrs. Graves' explanation, do you have a recommendation, Mr. Russellton?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the combined balance sheet for September 2020.
Well, with Mr. Russellton's recommendation, do I have a motion to accept the combined balance sheet? Ready, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item O is certification of bank reconciliation, September 2020, Mrs. Graves.
All bank statements will be reconciled with no exception.
Based on Mrs. Graves' explanation, do you have a recommendation, Mr. Russellton?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the certification of bank reconciliations for September 2020.
All right, with Mr. Russellton's recommendation, do I have a motion to approve the certification of bank reconciliations? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item P is revised board policies, EBBD, emergency closing. Ms. Hanson.
Ma'am, we are asking to revise this policy to state that in the event of school closures due to inclement weather, certified employees who work less than 230 days will not report to work unless the superintendent declares a distance learning day. At that point, the employee will be able to work remotely. Also, classified employees that work less than 230 days will not report to work, even if it is a distance learning day. But that work day will be rescheduled during the fiscal year in question.
Based on Mrs. Haseman's explanation, do you have a recommendation, Mr. Russellton?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve the revised board policy EBBD for emergency closing.
All right, based on Mr. Russellton's recommendation, do I have a motion to approve revised board policy EBBD?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
One moment, Mr. Russellton.
What I was going to comment on that is, this is put in place, Ms. Haseman, is adding this board policy just in case we need that. That does not mean that any snow day would be a distance learning day, but it is possible we could use it.
Okay, good. Thank you. Item Q is personnel, Mr. Alexander.
Good afternoon, personnel packet. This afternoon is pages 1 through 3 recommendations. Pages 4 and 5 are personnel changes. Page 6 are provisional memo. The college teachers has not been awarded with the educator license this time. Page 7 is a memo from the Samples, our executive director, recommending support of school improvement to approve a $5,000 supplement for both sponsors. for their work, yeah, I was just discussing that, anybody else, as well. Page 8 is request permission to pay for Ms. Eagle, our director of federal program, on an employee who will work as an after-school tutor at Horn Lake Middle School for 19 and a half hours, with $27 an hour, beginning 11/6/20 and ending 6/30/21. Page 9, doing our workflow charts. Page 9 is human resources. Pages 10 through 12 is the job description for director of human resources. Simply a change in reporting after the assistant superintendent is no longer associate superintendent. Pages 13 and 15 is the job description for the assistant director of human resources, and there are responsibilities added there. Pages 16 through 18 is the job description for data / customer support, and those have added job descriptions as well. Pages 19 through 21 is the job description for data, customer support, and verification part. That remains the same. Pages 22 through 24 is a job description for data, customer support, for data processing. That has added job descriptions and added job duties. Pages 25 through 27 is job description for data, customer support, for orientation. And then pages 28 through 30 is a job description for data, customer support, for data processing. And that has added job duties as well. Pages 31 through 33 the job description for data customer support for FMLA and workers' compensation, and that has an added job duty. Pages 34 to 36 is job description for administrative assistant, and that's simply back reporting out to assistant superintendent. And pages 37 to 39 is the job description for personnel recruiter, and that's the same change. Page 40 is the flow chart for operations. Page 41 is the flow chart for student services. Page 42 is the flow chart for chief financial officer. Page 43 is the flow chart for assistant business manager. Pages 44 through 45 is the job description for the chief financial officer, which now that changes to the reporting to the assistant superintendent of associate. Pages 46 through 48 is the job description for director of student services with the same change. Pages 49 through 51 is the job description for administrative assistant. It's the same change. And then pages 52 through 54 is the job description for director of athletics, which is part-time, and the same to the board of assistant superintendent or assistant superintendent.
With Mr. Alexander's explanation, do you have a recommendation, Mr. President?
Madam President, I recommend the board to approve personnel as listed.
Do I have a motion to accept recommendation? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. And now is the time in our meeting for public comment. If you will be commenting on your student's teacher, or your student's grade, you will need to be heard in executive session. Does anyone fall into those categories and have anyone requesting to comment? Seeing none, we have 3 requesting to appear. Is Mr. Couch? Are you here? Mr. Couch. Mr. Hubbard? And Mr. Mathis. All right, y'all will all be seen in executive session. Okay, at this time, I need a motion for consideration of closed session to determine whether the board should enter executive session for the following matters: a construction contract issue, potential litigation, personnel matter, and request to appear. Do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chase will come back and inform you whether we stay in executive session. The recess meeting is scheduled for November 19th, 2020 at 10 a.m. here in the board meeting. Thank you.